Mrs. Thorne, your brain aneurysm is in a delicate spot, and there's already been some bleeding. You need surgery as soon as possible. If it ruptures, your life will be in danger. How much will the surgery cost? A conservative estimate would be $200,000. 200,000? The Vance family went bankrupt. My father had a stroke, leaving us with a mountain of debt. Everything I owned, every single valuable thing, went to fill that gaping hole. Where am I supposed to find 200,000 now? And here, in the Thorne family, their daughter-in-law, am treated worse than a dog. By the time I left the hospital, it was already dark outside. I hadn't walked far when my phone rang. A cold male voice spoke. Get to the Nightfall. His tone was a command, giving me no room to refuse. I looked at the medical report in my hand, then thought about our current relationship. I bit my red lip, then nodded and replied. Okay. The Nightfall was Viridia City's most infamous high-end club. When I arrived at the private room, it was packed with men and women, exuding an air of lavish decadence. The man in the center of the room swirled his drink. Seeing me enter, he snapped his fingers, and the room instantly fell silent. He lifted his gaze to me. Come here. I hesitated, then walked over. The moment I got close, he yanked my wrist, and the next second, I was pulled into his embrace. Asher, let me go. Asher held me tight with just one arm. Mrs. Thorne, are you sure you want me to let you go? Think about how much the Vance family still owes me, and then think about your father's medical bills. At his words, I stopped struggling. Can you lend me another 200,000? The man looked at me as if I'd told a joke. Finally, his gaze settled on my makeup-free, gaunt face. What part of you is worth 200,000? With that, he pinched my chin, forcing me to face the people around us. Why don't you pick a man, spend a night with him, treat him right, and maybe you'll get 200,000. Do you have to humiliate me like this? Humiliation? Asher sneered, his cold lips brushing my ear, his voice like it came from hell itself. Compared to what your Vance family did to me back then, what's this little humiliation? I closed my eyes in agony. The Vance and Hayes families were old acquaintances. Asher and I were childhood sweethearts, and in college, we were that couple everyone envied on campus. But the year we were supposed to go study abroad together, the Hayes family suddenly went bankrupt. Asher's father couldn't handle it and committed suicide by jumping from a building. I went to beg my father to help the Hayes family, only to accidentally discover that my father was the real culprit behind their downfall. I didn't know how to face Asher, so I broke up with him. Blissfully unaware, Asher couldn't believe I would leave him at his lowest, most difficult moment. He knelt in the rain outside the Vance mansion all night, pleading with me not to go. But my father took the opportunity to finish him off for good. By the time I arrived, Asher had already been beaten unconscious. I fought desperately to protect his head, but I suffered a severe blow myself, leaving me with lasting after effects. To stop my father from going to extremes, I could only agree to an arranged marriage, marrying into the incredibly influential Thorne family. Who knew that 6 years later, Asher would return to Viridia City as a business magnate, and the first thing he did was completely destroy the Vance Corporation. Just then, someone chimed in from the side. Mrs. Thorne, Mr. Hayes is doing you a favor. Everyone knows Mr. Thorne's eldest son is crippled, and your children were conceived through IVF. Has he ever satisfied you in all these years? After the man spoke, everyone burst into laughter. Amidst the laughter, I clenched my fists tightly and calmly said, okay, then I'll pick one. Asher's face instantly darkened. My gaze quietly swept over everyone present, as if I were truly making a selection. Finally, I looked at the man who had just spoken. You'll do.